there needs to be a level of clarity in our leadership that when they see us, there's no doubt who we are and what we're trying to accomplish in our leadership. Not only that, but there shouldn't be any doubt in where we're leading them. And I think if we're leading with, not only do they know the person who's leading them, but they know where we're leading them to. And if we can keep our clarity and our consistency in check, I think, man, messages as that we can portray as leaders is very clear for people to pick up on.
Okay, I want the audience to take just a minute. I often encourage the audience to watch this show with a pen and paper, and I hope you just wrote that down, that people need to have the consistency, and they're never going to have a problem following you if they know where they are being led. They have that vision, they have that clear, surmised message of where you are leading them. I can't overplay how important of a statement that was. Dustin, let me fling you one more quick question real quick because we're pushed up against the time, and I know episode to talk about more. But specifically, you deal with people from all walks of life, different cultures, ethnical backgrounds, rich, poor, everything in between. So sticking along with communication and influence, how do you develop a message and an impact on people from every walk of life, the vast differences that we have?
To the genuine core, everybody's the same. Humans are humans. We all have the same difficulties. We all have the same struggles. We all have the same interests. And when we can get down to that core, a teacher told me one time, when you speak to somebody and you're speaking to a wide variety of people, speak on a level where everybody can hear the message, whatever that message you're trying to convey, whether it's, hey, I'm leading you to this goal. We're leading the company to this prize. I'm leading you to heaven in my specific job. But I think sometimes we pick a specific group of people we want to cater to. And you can't do that in a large corporation because we don't know everybody's background like we should. I think second to that is a leader needs to know who he's talking to. You know, one of the things in preaching, audience analysis, who am I speaking to? I'm going to speak differently to a room of 300 teenagers than I will to maybe a room of 300 mixed adults, because I'm going to try to hit them where they're at and in the space they're in. And I think if we don't know who we're speaking to, if we don't know how to adapt to who we're speaking to, sometimes we can't be clear in our communication of where we're leading them and why we're leading them in this direction.
I love that. Well, Dustin, this has been absolutely fantastic. Giving me an idea here. So if somebody obviously recognizes your wisdom and your ability, because you speak all over, and of course, at church every Sunday, how can somebody get a hold of you and find Dustin Campbell? Say, hey, I want to get a hold of this guy. I want more of what he has to say. Where can we find you?
Well, we have a YouTube page. You can check out Broadway Church of Christ in Paducah, Kentucky on our YouTube page. You can go on and listen to some guy preach for 30 minutes, usually once a week. I hope and I pray that I give some wisdom and insight from God's word through that. You could also check out our website, BroadwayCoc.com. My phone number, my contact email, and all that stuff's on there. Man, I'm always welcome to questions, and I'm always willing to help people grow. I hope to grow in some of our conversations.
Outstanding. Dustin, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And
Thank
you for everyone for watching. Remember, I want you to go out there and I want you to see the change and be the change. And we'll see you next time on Pivotal Change.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Welcome to Vital Signs, where we talk about all things healthcare, wellness, medical, new technologies so that we can become the absolute best peak performing human beings and realize the asset that is our greatest asset, our health. I'm here today with amazing guests, and we're going to dive into physical and mental fitness and well-being. Before we do, however, remember that anything you hear on this show is for educational purposes only. If you would like to take any of the things that you hear on this show and integrate it into your lifestyle, please be sure to check with your healthcare professionals. I am really excited and jazzed because I have a power couple here who move in the fitness and well-being space. They host retreats, they are into corporate wellness. They're just so incredibly amazing and bringing so much to our world. Welcome, please, for me, Micah and Diana Lacerte to the studio.
Wow, thank you,
Thank you
Jen.
so
We're so
much.
excited to be here.
So tell me about the businesses that you have. And a little bit about how you got into them so that everybody can get a glimpse of, okay, this was our journey and this is why we show up so powerfully in this space.
Yeah, so we have two businesses. The first one is Hitch Fit. We have an online business that we work with people all over the globe, 82 countries, over 700,000 pounds. We started that back in 2009, and it's just been a blessing to wake up and help so many people. We just went over 700,000 pounds of weight loss globally.
Wow.
And we started it in an attic on MySpace of all places. So we were kind of the pioneers in that space. And then we have a brick and mortar gym that we simply replicated what we were doing online in person. And so we help people in Kansas City area.
Yeah, so that's Hitch Fit, and then our other business is called Soul Fit Retreats, and that's just been within the last 2 years, and so it's kind of morphed into this thing. We've helped people for so many years with their health and fitness and their transformation journeys, learning how to eat, learning how to exercise, but what we've realized is there's just so many deeper things that are holding people back from really truly living a healthy lifestyle. And so what we've done with Soul Fit is just created a space, environments where we can dig a little bit deeper and figure out what's going on underneath so that people can really step into the healthiest versions of themselves.
And so for those of you who are hearing this, these guys are real pros. They have completely, you've revolutionized how this is being approached, and you really have brought into that mental, spiritual, emotional side and aspect to well-being, fitness, and weight loss. And those are really big topics right now. We are in an obesity crisis. We are in an epidemic of lifestyle disease. And you guys are on the front line helping people to truly rein that in. Talk to me a little bit about where does the mental, social, emotional, spiritual side fit into the weight loss journey?
Well, I think the thing is, like, we are 3-in-1. We are all body, mind, and spirit. We have these three things, and each of us that like creates this whole being. And so, you know, we were kind of some of the OGs in the online personal training space. And I think 15 years ago, you know, we knew we had to take care of our bodies. But as we've just been able to work with thousands of people over the years, it's like to really have true transformation, we have to really tackle this from that holistic perspective of our body, mind, and our spirit, because they all impact each other. And when one thing is out of order, like, that impacts the other pieces. So that's kind of where we've come from with it, is like we have to really look at people as this whole thing and tackle each of these pieces so that we can have our best mental health, our best physical health, our best emotional, and our best spiritual health.
And that carries over into every aspect of your life. So if we can build some discipline in these people's lives in a way where they have the structure, the schedule, they're starting to eat better, they're starting to work out, that then carries over to them being a parent, them being, you know, a husband, them being a better friend, a better leader within their community. They're not in bondage of anything. And that is, you know, something that we really preach on and something that we teach because we just love being able to go into people's lives and impact them.
And obviously you practice what you preach. I mean, you guys are always online doing these things, you know, and you've empowered people to step into loving their body no matter where they are on the journey. That's the feeling I get when I look at your stuff. Talk to me a little bit about how our viewers can start to fall in love with their body as it is, even if they're on a journey towards fitness and health.
Well, I think our bodies are just one of the most unbelievable gifts that we've been given, you know. And for me, just being able to step into that space of helping other people, it actually started with me going through my own personal transformation journey. I wasn't loving my body. I was mistreating it. I was overeating. It was a compulsive overeating, and so for me, it was the disciplined lifestyle that kind of was one of the pieces that allowed me to break that habit and then be able to actually step into a healthy lifestyle. So now it's just it's just incredible to be able to help people, just having gone through all of those steps myself and having to walk every step of that journey personally, and now be able to teach it to other people so that they can also just create healthy lifestyles and just have the biggest impact and the most effectiveness of what the things that they're supposed to be doing in life too.
And my story was, somewhat similar to hers. There was a transformation that had to happen. I'm 18 years old. I'm very thin. I'm dealing with insecurity. I'd gone through a tremendous amount of trauma and pain growing up. It was very unstable, bad environments and whatnot. I saw and witnessed a lot of things that people shouldn't have to go through. And I got this lifeline from the Lord, and it literally was like dumbbells and chicken breast. And that sounds really funny to kind of lighten it down. And I really wanted to start that journey based off of wanting to build muscle and look like the guys that were on covers of magazines and whatnot. But what I found out is within weeks, it started changing my mental state, the anxiety I was having, the depression I was having, and ultimately it was a game changer in everything that I was doing. And then that inspiration of me going through my own journey ended up being the reason that I got in to help other people.
And so I'm going to ask the question because people are going to ask it. Social media, all this stuff that we see on social media, we always are scrolling. There's like doom scrolling. It's negatively impacting our mental health. We're now comparing and despairing against everything that we see. But of course, on social media, what does everybody post? The favorite, they'll maybe take 150 photos and you only see the best one. And they only show the good. So it's not telling the whole story. So as people are now engaged in that and entrenched in that and have been for some time, and that has become a part of our daily culture and habits, how are you able to empower people to really sort of stop the doom scroll and really own and empower within their own body and their own journey and not guilt themselves every time they see, oh, I'm not where I want to be yet?
Yeah, that's such a good point, and it's such a tough thing too. I think it's just one of those things we have to really pay attention to our bodies and our minds and what is happening, like when we're doing that scrolling, how are you feeling? And I think a lot of people, that's a numbing activity, like you don't even realize what's happening in your body and your mind when you're seeing these things. So one thing I encourage people to do is just start paying attention to how you're feeling internally when you're doing that scrolling. And if there's stuff that is making you feel more negative, like we share a lot of transformation stories that the goal is for them to be inspiring, and if people go to the page and like read the full story, they share all of the really hard things that they had to go through to get there. But I also think that if that is like, if you're looking at those things and feeling poorly about yourself, maybe just take a minute to not look at those things and just wait till you're in a better emotional state, and then when you're emotionally balanced, that's the time that you can look at those things. But I think it's just, I really encourage people to just get to know, like, pay attention to what's happening physically in your body and listen to those signs of what is triggering you and the things that are like, oh, okay, that makes me feel good, that makes me feel inspired. Then those are the things to put in your mind and really pay attention to.
Something that we've done that has been unique is with our clients, I've encouraged them to start posting about their journey. And they get so much positive feedback. And so they're kind of staying away from the doom scrolling and the negativity and really focus just on, okay, how can I go and impact someone else? Turning that pain into purpose.
I really like that. Turn your pain into purpose, follow your own journey. And you know, there's a lot of doom scrolling that goes on in your right. People numb out. We're trying to escape. There's a lot of escapism that happens. And as we take that time and we realize that it's not really serving us, now we have time and energy to devote to something that will serve us. And so we are going to have to break in just a brief second, but think about what is something that if they want to interrupt that cycle and turn it into a positive habit, we're going to open after the break with how they can take action on that today. We will be right back after these messages.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now. Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Welcome back to Vital Signs. If you're just tuning in, you missed the challenge before the break. We were talking about doom scrolling and how do we interrupt the pattern that is feeding into us the negative, the compare and despair, and negatively impacting our physical, mental well-being. And I challenged Diana and Micah to give us what is a way to stop, hold the phone, pattern interrupt, and insert a healthy habit that we can start to improve our physical, mental, spiritual, social, emotional well-being. And I'm going to immediately turn that to you guys because I know you've been anxiously waiting and thinking about this. What can people do? Like if they're doom scrolling and all of a sudden they catch it, how do they break that pattern and what do they replace it with?
Okay, one really quick, simple thing that people can do is put the phone down and even just take a couple of minutes of breathing, of just getting back into your body. And that can be very simple, even if it's just 5 like long, slow breaths in. Sometimes people breathe in and then hold it for 7 seconds and then release it. So really just coming back and focusing on your breathing is one of the best things you can do to just come back into your body and just feel how you're feeling and then be like, okay, now that I've done that, I can move on to something else.
So when it comes to doom scrolling, what I would say is connecting doom scrolling to something that is negative. Is it filling me with positive or something with negative? Once that's triggered in your mind, I think it's a bit easier to put it down. You know, they know what they're doing when it's scrolling over and over and over again, but it's for us to then recognize that, hey, is this filling me with positive? Is this going to add to my life or take away from it? When you break it down to that level, you'll be able to, cut the temptation of scrolling.
Well, let me ask the question because I am curious about this. Is there ever a scrolling that is actually adding to our lives? Because if you're just scrolling, are you really picking anything up from that?
I mean, probably the majority of the time, no, unless you're planning a trip and you need ideas for like where to stay.
Or what to wear.
Or what to wear, yeah.
If you get in one of those algorithms with funny cats and funny dogs, it gets you off of your daily work and whatnot. So something that may be funny that's adding to your life, for a couple minutes, there's nothing wrong with that.
Awesome. Fantastic. I love it. So if you catch yourself doom scrolling and you start to feel anxiety, stop, take a breath. Maybe it's a 5-5-5, maybe it's a 5-7-8, maybe it's just focused breath, but take a breath and then, is this serving me or not? And then what are we going to insert once we stop? Because sometimes we're doom scrolling for 30 minutes, for 2 hours, like it's amazing. Or maybe we're like, what is the term that they're using? Bed rotting these days to decrease their anxiety. Yeah. So what can we do if we're in one of these habits that is more going to get our bodies moving, get our mental health where we need to be so that we can take that next step?
Well, I would say either get outside if you can and go like exercise, like get outside in nature. That's one great thing. Connecting with other people, whether it's your family, because what we hear a lot is, my husband's on the phone all the time, or they're always distracted by this, and it's taking away from time with their spouse or with their children. So instead of that, let's make a point of connecting with someone. Maybe that's your kids, maybe that's your spouse, maybe that's a friend, but just instead of all of this scrolling and you're not actually connecting, like make a point of connecting with someone.
I would look at the very beginning and start of your day. Are you going straight to your phone when you wake up? I would leave that phone away and get into whatever it is that you may do. Your devotionals, building your breakfast for the day, or just that time you need for meditation, or maybe some cardio. Starting that day right, then I think makes you more aware of not going and doing that later.
So you guys are talking about habits now. You're talking about habits, and habits are hard to break. And it's especially hard if we don't have something that we're really excited about. And let's be real, if we are on a journey or we are thinking about embarking on a fitness journey, it's really daunting to, okay, I really know I should exercise, but it's like pulling teeth to get me to go do this, or I don't know where to start. So talk to me a little bit about if we are in this state and we know we need to make a change, how do we start that habit change process? What's the easiest thing we can do to ease in? And kind of give me an overview of maybe a couple of options that we can look into.
Yeah, so one of the best things, and you're right, like habits is like the outcome of our lives is based on our habits. It's based on those little choices that we're making every single day. So if you're trying to develop a new habit, the first thing to recognize is that it's going to take repetition. And it's just like, muscles get stronger the more reps that we do. Habits get stronger the more reps that we do. So the reps matter and the reps are so important. So just think of that. It's going to take repeating this over and over and over until it actually becomes an autopilot in your life. So let's say, for example, like Micah just mentioned, you want to start the day without looking at your phone. One thing you can do is make sure your phone is not in the room. And then if the goal is I'm going to exercise first thing in the morning, get your clothes out first thing in the morning. So or get them out the night before so that as soon as you get up, they are there, you put them on, and then you can go straight into that habit. So little cues like that can just help you do those things and then do it over and over and over again.
I heard #no excuses. Have those clothes right there and just do it.
Just do it.
Habit creation for me has always been about building a non-negotiable schedule. We have work, we have time with our family, but we also need to make that non-negotiable time with ourselves, where that health is a priority. Now, a lot of people are connecting working out to something that's negative, because a lot of people have no idea what it actually feels like to wake up healthy. And it's something that we preach and push all the time. Like, if you just knew what it felt like and what it could do to elevate your life in every single way, you would never miss a day, because of what you get every single day. And I'm not talking just muscles and being able to flex and smile and all of that. I'm talking what it does to your mental state with depression and anxiety and confidence.
And so let's dive into that a little bit deeper, because sometimes, like we're talking about exercise as the easiest entry point. What's usually, if you take a cross section of all the clients that you've had, what is the easiest first step? Is it nutrition? Is it sleep? Is it exercise? Like, what is the easiest first step, that the first habit that people can start that gives them that physical, spiritual, mental boost, if you will, and then kind of cascades everything else?
So when it comes to, like, we always preach just exercise plus nutrition. If they will just make small changes even to the eating habits, whether that's cutting back on sugar, cutting back on alcohol, drinking more water, those things, that is going to immediately impact the brain. Like, what we eat in a day has an immediate impact. Exercise can come sometimes, it's going to take time for you to feel like that, understand that it actually feels good, and for you to see the changes. So I think just even small nutrition changes, because that's going to impact our brains immediately, and then moving into your exercise components. Really, we got to bring all of those things together for the best result and the best impact, but I think even just starting with those little changes of what you're eating and drinking.
I think it will come down to creating a why that's big enough to not quit. And then the second thing I would say is building accountability around you. That may be sitting down with your family or even your roommate, a friend, and going, let's do this together. Make that public too. We're going to start walking every 30 minutes, once a day for 30 minutes, and just spend some time together, where now you're connecting this fitness with family time and uplifting and love.
I love it. It's multitasking too. For those of us who are busy in life, maybe we're a stay-at-home mom and we've got 3 toddlers we're chasing around. We're building the habits into our life and multitasking it. And oh, you just said make it public. So what a wonderful way to use social media for the positive side to hold you accountable. I actually did that last year. I had a concussion, and after a concussion, I don't know if you've ever been concussed, but like, it was really severe. I couldn't work out. Like, there was a lot that I could not do. And so I went from, I'm a weightlifter, I'm like heavy in fitness, to, oh, like, I have to rest because it's going to, like, I had too much symptoms. And you also only want to eat fried food and like sugar. Like, you don't want to eat anything healthy. It's the weirdest thing. It's like it turns you into a 2-year-old. And so I literally went on social media and said, listen guys, like, this is what happened. I haven't talked about it. Nobody knew. I didn't share that publicly, but I'm recovering from this, and this is what's happened to my body as a result, and I need to get back on track. So I am challenging myself to cut sugar and to do this like every day. And I'm going to post my accountabilities here. And you would be surprised when you do that, how many people jumped on. And it was 6 weeks. And I had like 15 people who worked out with me, and we were posting at the same time. And if you missed that post, I got posts on my time like, hey, Jen, I didn't see your post today. So it kept you honest. And so you're so right. Start small, start with the little changes. Maybe it's a nutritional change, maybe it's an exercise change, but announce it, set up your accountability, announce it publicly, and make sure you can hold yourself and have other people hold you accountable so that you actually make it happen. You guys, we have talked about all kinds of things so far. You're not going to want to touch that dial because we're going to keep it coming after the break, but we do have to take a brief break. We'll see you in a few moments.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Welcome back to Vital Signs. If you're just tuning in, you're going to want to go to nowmedia.tv, click on shows, go to Vital Signs, and catch the first half of today's show. It has been pure gold. I have 2 experts in the health fitness space that have been dropping all kinds of hints. How do we stop doom scrolling and instead convert that into something healthy? How do we take charge of our health, our greatest asset, and start moving our body, start fueling our body, and getting ourselves onto a journey that's going to allow us to feel our absolute most amazing best? And I want to remind you that something that Micah said in the last segment was you want to have your why be more important than anything else. So maybe you're like me and you're a Gigi and you've got grandbabies. My why is I want to be able to play with my grandbabies and kick that soccer ball around. So it's important for me to fuel my body and do the things that make the most sense. So we didn't really dive into that. We've heard that before on the show, and you should have already got that why. But if you don't, today is the day that you take action and get that deep why so you can put into play some of the other golden nuggets that Micah and Diana have been sharing. Without further ado, I am going to dive right back in with you guys, Diana and Micah, and I want to ask about what what is the link between physical fitness, health, the physiological side, and mental health and well-being? Because we know it's there, but science and disinformation is rampant. So what is that link? What does that look like? And how can we incorporate something into our day that helps us with our mental?
Yeah, it is. I mean, what's fascinating is it's a field that is like, we know so much, but there's so much more to be learned. And that's why we're like such big promoters of exercise, but even strength training specifically, because of what it secretes, the hormones that are produced that secrete into our bodies when we strength train, that are actually serve as, our bodies are like these pharmacies. We have like these pharmacies in our muscles. And so when we strength train and when we contract muscle, it secretes things into our bodies that actually act as antidepressants.
Yeah, and what she's referring to is called a myokine, and the scientists actually call it the hope molecule. So every time you're doing a rep, it's being released and then brought through the brain to then help with anxiety and depression. They also found, they had a study recently over in Australia with over 127,000 people that showed that working out was more effective than any medication and any counseling when it came to helping with anxiety and depression, and the quickest. Not that we are against counseling, because we believe that's very important as well, but imagine that, something that's free that we can just go and do that instantly makes us feel better.
Yeah, and with as many people as are struggling with mental health nowadays, it should be part of the package of treatment is making sure you are exercising regularly, and we really encourage strength training specifically.
And I'm going to ask the question that I know I'm going to get, but wait a minute. I don't want to become a muscular human being. We get this all the time. I get it all the time. Like, I strength train, and nobody would ever know what I can lift. I mean, I can lift very heavy, but you would never know it because my body type doesn't allow me to show that. So talk to me a little bit about that concern, because I have a very large amount of females in my audience, and that's the number one thing I hear.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Thank you for asking that question. Ladies, you're not going to turn into a bodybuilder or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Our bodies are simply not, we don't have that level of testosterone in our bodies to produce mass amounts of muscle. And as we age, we start losing lean body mass, and lean body mass is incredible. And when I say lean body mass, I mean muscle. So that is incredibly important, not just for our physical health, for preventing osteoporosis. It's called sarcopenia when we start losing muscle, and it happens when it's starting in our 30s. And even as we get into hormonal changes of perimenopause and menopause, one of the best things that you can do to protect yourself through those phases, so that it's not that everything's going to go away, but it can make things a lot easier as we go through those times as far as weight gain and weight loss, is lean body mass, because it keeps our metabolism higher. And then we're talking about just our immune systems are healthier, and our mental health. So don't be afraid of lifting the weights. They are literally the fountain of youth, and they will make you, when toning just means that you want to be able to see that muscle, and that just means losing body fat and being able to see those muscles. But I promise you won't become a bodybuilder.
And they've also just recently linked strength training and lean muscle mass to longevity of life and fullness of life. We fall and we get hurt, we're able to recover quicker, even at an older age. And just to take this a step further, like as a guy that works out on a regular basis, my entire goal is to gain as much lean muscle as possible, and I'm eating 4 times the amount as most females do. And so you're in this situation. Ladies, start working out. You're going to feel awesome, and you're not going to get gigantic bulky bodybuilder.
Well, we laugh about this, but I was in PT and sports medicine for many, many years, 20 years, and the number one thing that we heard was, well, I want to still look like a female, and it's just not possible for us to look like a man unless we do some external things. So
yeah, and I'll just say, any female bodybuilder you see, that didn't happen by accident. Like, it was very, very intentional.
Yeah, it's a meticulous training. It's a very intense, meticulous training. And so when we look at athletes, and I think about this because, Olympics, a lot of us, we watch the Olympics and we see very lean form and we see muscles, but these are highly, highly, highly trained, very dialed in elite athletes, and it takes a lot of work in order for us to achieve that body type and that look. So don't stress. Do it, just exercise. So let me ask you the next question that's coming. You know what's coming, I know. When we're on a weight loss journey and we start lifting weights and that scale doesn't go down, And what do we want to do, ladies? We quit. We're like, I'm doing all this work. I'm eating, and the scale went in the wrong direction. Talk to us a little bit about that so we can overcome some of those myths and worries.
Yeah, so really important is so when you start strength training, it's also important to start looking at your nutrition too. And when those things come together, there could be a small period of time where you might see that transitional phase, because you're not going to gain like 5 pounds of muscle in a week. It's just not going to happen. But so we need to make sure that the nutrition is on point too, so that you're supporting lean body mass, but so fat mass can come down. So if you're building muscle and you're over consuming, so you're also still gaining fat weight, that's when people can think that they're getting bulky. So that's why those things go in conjunction. It is very possible to build some lean body mass and then drop body fat at the same time. And then so for some women, that may mean they don't see as much of a scale loss. So that's why body composition is incredibly important, to be looking at that versus just the scale. But if you get those two things going in conjunction, the scale and the measurements should be steadily and slowly, not these quick fixes, steadily and slowly going down.
And then with females specifically, you know, a lot of females, their hormones, every single month they're going through their natural cycle. And so just being aware of during that little pocket that water is going to raise in their body, that their scale is going to like go up more than likely. I always talk to male, female clients. It's all the same game when it comes to building a better relationship with the scale and understanding what the scale actually is, which is third or fourth on the list of things to watch. We're looking at body fat composition and lean muscle mass. We're looking at inches, those sorts of things, how you're feeling and how your clothes are fitting. And then that scale is really just an indicator to see if we're gaining lean mass or losing fat.
Yep, and so thank you. I was going to ask you, give us some other measures that we can be following, because not everybody has access to be able to determine their body composition. While, by the way, there's scales that can actually do that we can get at home. So are there some things that you guys recommend or use a lot with your clients at home that maybe people who are watching could acquire so they can see the body composition?
Yes, so there's a lot of free online calculators. We have one actually on HitchFit that's very easy. You can, if you have a tape measure, you can just take some measurements, and at least it gives you a number that you can track over time. And the other thing that we really encourage is actually pictures. And I know sometimes that can be hard for people to take pictures, but they're so powerful, because sometimes it's like, oh, I don't think things are changing. But if you have pictures to do comparisons, you can look at your body and be like, oh my goodness, like I can see the changes in my shoulders or my waist or like whatever. You can see these changes happening. So that's why we encourage them, is because sometimes it's frustrating. You see yourself every day and you're like, nothing's happening. But things are happening and changing, so just stay consistent. A
couple other measures you can do. You can get on Amazon and buy body fat calipers. And really learn that pretty easily off of YouTube or whatnot, and then put it into a calculator that gives you a rough estimate of where your body fat is, and then you're staying consistent in measuring in the same spot, so you can kind of see, you know, as you transition from body to body. If you want to go further, like if you have a local DEXA scan that is in your area, that's going to cost money, but that's going to be extremely accurate. So those are some options.
Fantastic. We've got lots of non-scale ways to measure how we are doing on this transition and this journey. And I want to just highlight, we cannot only strength train, we must have that nutrition component. And I want to ask it from a different side of things. Sometimes we're not on a weight loss journey. We just have lost muscle, or we want to get stronger and more fit, and we don't change our diet. That also is a challenge, because talk to us about what we need to be consuming to prevent injury when we start strength training, for example.
Yes, and the most important, so we have 3 macronutrients you're probably familiar with. We have carbs, we have protein, and we have fat. So a lot of people don't consume enough good, high quality protein. And just consuming quality protein, which means your chicken, your fish, your eggs are a good one, whey protein is a good one. So make sure you're consuming enough of that, because that's how you're going to be able to build lean body mass. And like that's so important, especially as we age. A lot of times people are just simply not consuming it, and that's why we see a lot of like lean body mass loss that leads to all of these other health issues too. So protein, make sure you're consuming plenty of protein throughout the day.
Yeah, when you go into a calorie deficit, it's important to increase your overall protein count. to make sure that you're protecting your muscle or build back lean muscle. The other thing that I would touch on, she talked on macros, I would talk about micros too, so your minerals and your vitamins. You can go get lab work if you have the finances to do that. If you don't, get a good multivitamin and add some of those things. As we age, those things are important so we don't have the deficiencies.
I'll give you one more quick tip is if just how much protein to eat for the day. If you're at a weight that you are happy with, like that's the weight you want to sustain, then take that number and get about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day. If you're not where you want to be and you have an ideal number, take whatever that ideal number is and make sure you're getting that amount of grams of protein per day.
Fantastic. You guys have some amazing tips. Thank you for that. Get your protein in. We've heard it before on the show. It's so incredibly important. Yes, ladies, we can eat the protein in and we can work out and lift, and it is not going to have us but building like a bodybuilder. We do have to take a brief break, but we will be right back after these messages.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99 and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Welcome back to Vital Signs. We are here with Micah and Diana. We have talked about so many ways that we can increase our daily habits for success so that we can maximize our greatest asset, which is our health. We've talked about nutrition. We've talked about fitness. We've talked about, hey, look, if we're on a weight loss journey, we can do some things and not turn into big, bulky weight trainers. We've talked about non-scale victories and the importance of movement for our mental health. We've talked about connecting with other people. So I want to tie it all up in a bow because these guys have been so amazing and dropped so many tips for you guys today. Micah and Diana, we've done all this. We know what we need to do. We've got the accountability in place, we think, but it's not happening. How do we know when it's time to get a coach or a trainer?
I would say the time to get a coach or a trainer is when you're ready to actually take action. And the other piece of that is sometimes people think they're ready and they hire a coach and they're like, I wasn't ready. Please don't have shame in that. There's no shame in that. Like, it happens. We kind of move in and out as human beings of like ready to do things and not ready to do things. That's okay. If you feel like you're ready, then take that step. And if you're with a coach that can actually help you overcome some of those mental blocks too, then you can actually work through some of those too. But I think just wait till you're like, okay, I am sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, and I'm ready to make some changes, and that's when you know it's time to get a coach.
And right now in this world, we're being bombarded with so much stuff on social media and do this diet and work with this trainer and whatnot. So how do we choose the right person? I think it comes down to a few different things. Number one, their resume. Do they have clients and success stories? What are their clients speaking about? Number two, I would look at their credentials. How long have they been a trainer? Have they worked with people one-on-one or only online? And then really the third thing that I would dive into is really to have that one-on-one communication with them. If this person is going on this journey with you for this period of time, it could be up to a year if you have 100 pounds to lose, let's say. This has got to be someone you really like too, because you build such a close relationship. You're going to open up so much with this individual. They got to be able to connect with you.
And so as we look at this as consumers, and you talk about looking at resume and all, but the reality is if we're not in the space, and I come from the space, I was in sports medicine, I'm a physical therapist by trade, like I have a lot of knowledge in the space. But if our viewers are not moving in the space, what are the key things to look for to sift through? This is a fad versus this is science-backed, and this is what's gonna protect you from injury along the way. Because one of the things as a physical therapist that we saw in the sports med world in orthopedics is a tremendous amount of injuries when people started a program and did things too much, too fast, or inappropriate for their age or body type. And so how do we know as consumers when we're doing our research how to sort and sift through that noise?
Yeah, oh my goodness, and there is so much noise nowadays too. I mean, so there's a lot of, Insta trainers out there too who don't even have any credentials but are showing, oh, here's this exercise and that exercise, and don't actually have any of those certifications, don't have any of that experience actually working with people one-on-one. And so I think that's the first thing, is before you take advice from anybody, just kind of take a look into like, who is this person, like how long have they been doing this? It's frustrating for us having been in this space for over 20 years. Just exactly what you're saying is people coming in that don't have those credentials and that education and that resume to back up what they're trying to put out there for people. So I just say look at those things first. Like just take it usually doesn't take too much digging to figure that out, but just make sure you're listening to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about.
Again, that one-on-one connection. So if you're looking for a real estate agent, you're going to do your due diligence, whether it's from a friend that gave a great referral or whatnot, to be able to sell that house at its top and have a great relationship during that time. It's the same thing when it comes to a trainer. And really taking that time to get to know that person, sit down with that person, and just really what you're feeling in your gut, the things that they're telling you. They need to be going into your goals, what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to achieve, and then them building a plan that's going to work for you. But also someone that is truthful and honest, not just a yes trainer that's like, hey, we're going to go and do happy hour after this. Really someone that is living that lifestyle. I think it's extremely important because that keeps you accountable even more when you guys are going on this journey together.
Yeah, and I want to kind of point something out that you kind of said, but I want to be very clear with this. if this person is not invested in you and your goals, if they're just pushing you through a one-size-fits-all program, you're not going to get that individualized attention that you need. And form is everything, and having that rapport is everything. So what Micah, what you said, and you went over a lot of things, but I really want to highlight that it's so critically important that your coach knows what your goals are, knows what your deeper why is, and is on your team. The best coaches, the best trainers, whether we're talking about life coaching, fitness, business, doesn't matter. When you hire a professional, they have to be holding your goals, not what their goals are. And there's a lot of disconnect there. So for many people, especially women, we are not confident in expressing what it is that we actually want. And sometimes we get into an uncomfortable situation after we've made a decision. So how do we come forward and message what is our goal and what is it that we really want when we engage with a trainer?
So I think one thing is make sure you're with a trainer that asks those questions, and it's great to be like, it's because you're, like you said, a lot of people are not confident going into that setting. So you should find someone that asks you questions instead of just puts you into this, oh, this is what you are, here's what you need to do. So if you're with someone that's not asking you those questions and not digging a little bit deeper and finding about you and what you're specifically trying to achieve, then that probably isn't going to be the best fit for you, because it's hard stuff to talk about, so just find someone that actually is paying attention to you and is listening to what you want to do.
I would look at the systems that the trainers are into. This is very important. There are systems out there that are driven off of sales. When that, unfortunately, a trainer, even if they're a good trainer, they're in that system, but they're pushed to sell and sell and sell. When you're with the right trainer, you're not even going to question that. It is all about you and your results. And everything is focused on getting you from point A to point B with no guessing the entire process. What to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, your training, being there to lift you up in those tough times, but also praising you in the highest of times.
And kicking you in the butt sometimes,
Yes.
too.
That's hard truth.
Yes.
And I just want to say this, a trainer who's always going to support you but is never going to kick you in the tail because you're not moving forward is not the one who's going to get you to the next level. And that's like that with anything, with any mentor, with any coach. We see that across the board. Talk to me a little bit about the mental side and emotional side of that. How do you balance the support versus the accountability? Because this is something that's key in any transformational journey.
Yeah, I think we've worked with so many people over the years. It's like we've gotten pretty good at being able to read people and knowing how we're going to have to communicate with them. So some people you can be like, do this, like go. And they're like, okay, I'm going to go. And then other people, it has to be more nurturing and you just have to like dig a little bit. And then just also understanding that some people are emotionally in a space where they are ready, like to make change, and some people may not be there because they have deeper stuff that they have to dig into. So it's just understanding there's all of these levels, and just finding a coach that can understand you, push you when you need to be pushed, but also understands when it may need to just kind of back things off and let's take a little bit deeper look at what's going on.
I think so much of the very beginning is psychological. So that person is coming in, I know that they're intimidated in some sort of way. They're not where they want to be. They may feel, just scared of the whole entire process. I know that they've stepped into that gym. So it's all about me nurturing and loving them. And something that I do is I get vulnerable with them almost right off the bat and share a little bit about myself as well, which then opens them up where they feel like they're in a safe place. And then what we also know about clients is they'll let themselves down, but they won't let other people down. So I also, someone that will build that team camaraderie together of like, almost in the very beginning, it's like, I don't want to let you down, coach. I don't want to let you down, trainer. And that's okay for a little pocket till they get to a place where they're like, I'm not going to let myself down.
Yeah, that's a great stepping stone. And so, unfortunately, all good things do come to an end, including the show. And you guys have given so much gold. How can people reach out to you? Because I know you have gym, you have online options, you have a lot of options. If people are looking to start this journey and they would like to get in touch with you or learn more, how can they do that?
The best place to find us is at hitchfit.com. That's kind of our main hub for everything. You'll find our emails, you'll find links to our retreat business and our social media pages, but that's really your best spot to go.
Like we tell everybody else, be ready. And when you're ready, we'll transform your life. That's what we do, that's what we love, and we would love to take the journey with you.
Fantastic. So for you, it's hitchfit.com once again, and we are going to thank you so much for your expertise today. I really appreciate you, all the amazing gems that you dropped. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for.
And you, yes, you, it's time to get off the couch and into motion. You heard lots of potential action steps that you can take today to move yourself forward, to improve your health, your well-being, your lifespan, your health span. Take one action. Maybe it's reaching out to these guys to learn a little bit more about the process. HitchFit is your action step. Maybe it's taking a breath because you've been watching TV and you're stressing out because there's all the things that I know I should be doing, but I haven't done, and it's overwhelming. It might be breathing. But find that action step that you heard today and take action on one thing right now, not tomorrow, not next week, so that you can start that health journey. Unfortunately, we do have to close, but the good news is we'll be here same time, same station next week. And until then, enjoy the rest of your day.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data